be fat, overweight, or even worse, obese. Well, I was just 4 years ago. Straight out of high school, I was a 235 pound, 18-year-old. I realized I needed to get the problem under control before I gained that freshman 15 that I'm sure some of you are familiar with. So, what I quickly discovered was that I hated doing cardio on a treadmill or at the track. It just wasn't for me. Um, it was the same old. So I figured there had to be other ways to lose weight without having to slave away on a treadmill or a bike, elliptical, you name it. I didn't like doing the same thing for an hour. So that's what today's speech is about. I'll tell you alternative methods to lose weight. The lazy way, as I like to call it, because I truly believe that if you eat properly, lift weights, and learn to manipulate your insulin, you can lose weight the lazy way, like I like to call it. Now that I've got your attention, allow me to get my first steps to losing weight the lazy way. Abs are made in the kitchen. That's a phrase you hear very often, and it couldn't be more true. When someone tells you to eat healthy, you probably think you need to eat chicken breast and salad. That's it. Well, those are good choices, but there's a lot more out there, and sometimes it's not what you eat, what you don't need to eat. And substituting, there's some simple substitutions you can change out of your diet. And granted, they won't be as good at first, but you'll live with it if you're willing. If you got it on your mind, you can do it. When I refer to carbohydrates, there's a couple things you can substitute out. White rice, white pasta, white potatoes. Those are the bad carbs, we'll call them. You can substitute those with brown rice, sweet potatoes, or whole wheat pasta. To give you an example, a cup of brown rice has roughly 60 calories and 25 carbs, I believe, whereas a cup of white rice has about 200 calories and 40 something, 40 to 60 carbs. And so keep in mind that 3,500 pounds, 3,500 3,500 calories is a pound of body fat. So by cutting out simple things like that and making healthier choices, you can significantly cut down your body fat. While we're still on the topic of macronutrients, make sure you're getting your proper protein in each day. Protein helps you to stay full, keeps those muscles big, and just speeds up the fat burning process. A really good rule of thumb is to say your body weight in grams of protein per day will keep you full, and you want to eat 5 to 6 meals a day. Small meals, nothing extravagant. You're trying to lose weight here. Maybe 3 meals and 2 small snacks. You can call those meals. Uh, you also want to be eating lots of vegetables. Vegetables are always good as long as they're not breaded and fried. Roughly a third of your diet should be vegetables. And so now that I've told you some things to eat, let's talk about what else you can do to lose weight without ever having to do cardio. A lot of people enjoy lifting weights, and that's where I go with the next one. Is that weightlifting is a way to lose weight because it just by putting on muscle burns a lot more body fat. It just increases your caloric intake or your caloric expenditure. You may say, I don't want to be jacked. I'm not trying to be a bodybuilder. If you want to be a bodybuilder, you're going to eat like a bodybuilder. So that's a common misconception people get when you're telling a new guy what he needs to eat, some things he can do. Oh man, I don't want to be jacked. It's not that easy. If it was, everybody would be. So I'm not going to go into specifics about weightlifting. Just know that there's plenty of stuff online. There's something for you out there. But just adding in weight training, 30 minutes to an hour a day, 4 to 5 days a week, can significantly increase your body fat burn. A couple tips for your weightlifting: you are trying to burn body fat, so keep an eye on your rest. Your rest time, you want to keep that to about a minute. And you know what? If weightlifting's not your thing either, you just don't like a gym, you don't like a treadmill or weights, that's fine. Insulin manipulation may be for you. Insulin is a hormone that regulates the amount of glucose in the blood. To put it in layman terms, insulin, when spiked at the wrong times, can cause you to store body fat. When spiked at the correct times, can be used to torch it. So, when should I spike my insulin? Well, you'd want to spike your insulin, what, 15 minutes after a workout or in a fasted state, which those are kind of the same thing. You definitely want to do it right when you wake up, because a fasted state is defined as 6+ hours without eating. So you want to spike your insulin, and what that does is when the glucose gets in, you have nothing else in your stomach, it's going to burn body fat immediately, and so that's the goal, right? Well, how do you spike your insulin, you may ask? Well, that's pretty simple. You're going to take in a simple sugar, a high glycemic carb, something that spikes that insulin high would be like a Gatorade post-workout would be good for that. Or upon waking up, orange juice is actually the highest glycemic food item, we'll call it, there is. They use orange juice in testing their insulin levels for diabetics. Um, you wouldn't ever want to spike your insulin with like a high-fat meal, because when you take in fats and carbs at the same time, carbs are fat soluble, which means that when you take in those carbs, you take in fats as well. Those fat liquids you have are already opened up, so they're just going to absorb those carbs into the existing fat. So that's a recipe for disaster, really. That's a simple tip for manipulating your insulin. And another method of manipulating your insulin is called carb cycling. It's a pretty simple thing. It's just like it sounds. It's a cycle. You have a high carb day, which is defined as your body weight in grams of carbs throughout that day. You wouldn't want to take in any carbs within 5 hours of going to bed. And following that day is your low carb day, which is defined as 1/3 of your weight, of your body weight in grams of carbohydrates. Once again, no carbs within 5 hours of going to bed. And that day is followed by your no carb day, which is defined as less than 10 grams of carbs, because there's going to be carbs in vegetables and nuts, almonds that you eat throughout the day. So you're going to get some, but you're just going to keep that below 10 grams. And then the cycle starts over, so you start over with your high carb day, which after a no carb day, I'm telling you, it feels like Christmas morning. That's an easy way to torch body fat, because you're constantly changing. That's the biggest thing, is that whether in weightlifting or in eating, you always want to be changing. Don't do the same thing. Your body is very smart, and it's going to adapt. And so that's some tips for losing body fat the easy way without ever having to get on a treadmill. Most importantly, you've learned today some healthier tips, some tips to be healthier, because being healthy is fun. It's a lot more fun to walk up those stairs and not be without breath than I know I was my freshman year when I was 235 pounds. So, thank you.